every mammal on the planet eats their placenta after birth. And so it just seems like the natural thing to do, you know, for us. So obviously an animal wouldn't do it if there wasn't some instinct and some benefit to it.
I was the doula for a mom who just had her baby last night, and she had a healthy, happy baby boy, a big boy, and she wanted to get her placenta encapsulated.
It's the tree of life, is what it's called sometimes. And so the fetal vein carries the oxygenated blood up here through the umbilical cord to the fetus, and then the two arteries bring it back. So we're gonna cut off the sac and the umbilical cord because we're not gonna dehydrate that part. So we're just gonna, and obviously, Jeny, we're gonna be very careful not to cut ourselves. Mm-hmm.
There are some women who are very proud to admit that they will fry it up in a frying pan or, you know, grill it up, and I'm sure that there are different nutritive values if you consume it that way versus dehydrating it.
My doula explained to me the benefits of placenta encapsulation, being that they would increase or speed up milk production, and then possibly help out with any baby blues that are associated with that. That was around the time that my midwife had also talked about whether or not I had a previous history of depression, and I did. I have what they term situational depression. So it made me a little anxious to have my daughter and get ready for all the beauty that was her to come, but then maybe have this cloud over it that I might kind of go into this little tunnel of situational depression. So given the option at birth to put my placenta away in the freezer, I took that because it was all the commitment I could make right then. I wasn't convinced to, as my husband, who's a vegetarian in terms of eat my meat. So I decided that was what I would do.
Now we're gonna start slicing it up so we can dehydrate it. So just like anything else that you would dehydrate it, like a piece of meat, you want to cut it pretty thin, just so it doesn't take forever. As soon as you birth the placenta, a huge amount of hormones that it's producing is just gone from your body, so it's a huge imbalance, and you want to be able to start evening that out as soon as possible. My sister suffered from depression after her third child, and she hadn't her first two, so it's not necessarily, you know, always going to happen with the same woman with every pregnancy. Every pregnancy is going to be different, but she really noticed it with her last baby, and so I recommended she encapsulate her placenta, and she did. She just had a baby, her fourth, just a couple months ago, and she said it's been amazing. Like, she really has noticed a huge difference.
I mean, there's so many benefits to it, and this organ that pretty much just, I mean, it does. It grows immediately when you get pregnant and when you conceive, and grows with your child and nourishes your child, and it's literally the life force for your baby. And so it not only has a lot of nutritive value, but also spiritual value and emotional value is there too.
A lot of people just, in our culture, it's not as common. In a lot of other cultures, it's seen as a part of your spirit. But here, sometimes people like to do rituals with it as well, like bury it under a tree, or, you know, make something out of it, or, you know, dehydrate it and keep it. But it's definitely more common in other cultures to value the placenta in that way.
How long do you usually dehydrate it?
It'll take like 8 to 12 hours, depending on how thick the pieces are.
It feels like raw meat.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a little bit less fibrous. It's pretty kind of squishy.
Yeah.
When I had my daughter, I did actually have an issue with my milk production coming in, and my daughter, who was born at a healthy 7 pounds, went within days down to like 6 pounds. So that was the time that I called my doula and said, if I go down to the Midwifery and pick up my placenta, which has been in the freezer now for a few days, is it still okay if you come over and encapsulate it? And she said, yeah, that it was perfect because it had been in the freezer. And so she came over to my house and she encapsulated it.
It's been dehydrated, so it's just shrunk down. It feels kind of like beef jerky now. Maybe let's start there.
Okay.
I was working on placenta. Can you say placenta?
Mommy, get it up!
I have gloves on my hands.
Get it up!
I'll take them off in a little while. I just don't want placenta on my hands. I've also heard of women who freeze the capsules until menopause, and that helps with mood and energy and balancing those hormones as well. You can just let that settle.
You have to put the short side in there and the tall ones in here. And then we put the powder on top, spread it over, and squish them together.
I took a couple out of the freezer, and oddly enough, I made sure that nobody was home. For some reason, I didn't want anybody to see me take my first ones because I don't know. It was it's me, you know. Like, it was a really important and valuable organ to my body, and I knew that I was doing something good for myself. But it did take a little psyching up, and I wanted to be proud of myself all by myself. So I got my kind of my orange juice down, and I had my meal, and I, for better or for worse, did some bottoms up, popped them in, and drank them all the way down, and then waited.
It's very cathartic to actually make the pills, I think.
Okay. And now, do you want to do it since you have two, and then just push down with both your... You want to push it down all the way, so they're nice and... Should we good?
And then take them out.
Yep. Alright. Yeah,
Beautiful.
push it. Push that down. So in there.
My husband noticed a change in my mood and my ability, my energy levels for the sleep that I got seemed to make me more rested when I was taking them. Things just worked out a little bit better for my day. My milk production increased, and just in general, you know, a happy wife, a happy life, and they kind of did that for us.
Happy placenta eating. Where are the babies? Where do the babies come from? Are they in their ears? No. Where are they?
In the belly.
Yeah. The babies are in their bellies, and then they come out.
Find some peace of mind, tear it up and do it right. If there's one thing in life I can say to you, we all need someone to hold on to. There's one born to lie.